Jesus first. Continues. Also, the Lord is jealous for lost souls' sake, but He knows that only by putting Him first in our lives are we going to have the strength and the conviction to want to help other people find Him. He knows that we won't be fulfilled, strong, and effective Christians if our hearts don't totally belong to Him. So, what steps can we take to not only put Jesus first in our lives, but also to keep Him in that place? One way is in our daily service to Him. Ask the Lord in prayer about everything you do before you do it, and make sure that's what He wants you to do. You will find that this principle holds true even in your everyday work. When faced with pressing deadlines, the temptation is often to crowd the Lord out of our lives and concentrate solely on our work. We've all done it at times, but putting the Lord last simply is not the solution. God has blessed and prospered many of great Christian businessmen because they put Jesus first in their everyday decisions. The famous industrial multimillionaire Robert Latrun tells a story when he was first starting out in his business, operating one small factory. One night I had to make a design for a new machine so that a crew of men on contract would build it the next morning. However, that same night I had been invited to go witnessing with some young Christian friends. The Lord had quite a struggle while I was trying to decide what to do. Although I could not understand how I was going to get the plan drawn for the next morning, I went with the young people and we had a wonderful, fruitful, inspiring time. I returned about 10 o'clock, and up to that time I had been unable to figure out a single plan. But I sat down at the drafting board, and in about 5 minutes the outline and plan was as clear as it could be. What is more, that little piece of machinery designed that night has been the key machine in all that I have been building since. It pays to put God first. Another famous Christian who always gave God first place in his everyday decision was William Gladstone, who was England's Prime Minister 3 times, is one of the most famous British political leaders of the 1800s. The story is told of every day as he went up the steps of Parliament building, he would stop and witness to a little newsboy there about Jesus' love. But one day, as he and his secretary were going into Parliament, another little newsboy rushed up to him exclaiming, "Please, sir, you know the boy who sells you papers here every day? Yesterday he was run over by a car and he's badly hurt. He's going to die and he's asking you to come and get him in." The minister questioned, "What do you mean get him in?" The lad replied, "You know, get him in heaven." His secretary, however, protested, "No, no, you don't have time to go see a dying newsboy. You know how important your speech today is. It could change the course of English history." Gladstone hesitated only a moment, then said, "One immortal soul is worth more than my speech in Parliament." So off to the little garret he went, where his newsboy lay crushed, dying on a rough mat in the corner, with tears streaming down his face. Gladstone led the boy in prayer to receive Jesus. The newsboy looked up in the great man's face and whispered, "I knew you'd come. Thank you for getting him in. Thank you for getting me in." Then he closed his eyes and went to be with Jesus.